Hello, and greetings from InsurTech Connect 2019. My name is Guy Fraker, and I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at ITL, and I'm very fortunate this morning to be standing with both colleague and, quite frankly, a very impressive innovator in the insurance industry, Sanjiv Parikh from Avanta Ventures. Morning.
Morning, Guy.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So let's dive right in. Avanta Ventures is connected with
CSA Insurance Group. We're the venture arm of CSA Insurance Group, which is a AAA insurer.
Great. And are you located on the same campus and with CSA?
We're separate. We're in Mountain View, California, so in the heart of Silicon Valley. And CSA is headquartered over in Walnut Creek, which is about 50 miles away.
Okay, great. So you're really in the middle of it all.
We try to be, yeah, and that's really how we're attracting the talent and the entrepreneurs to really focus and come with us.
Okay. Well, before we kind of get into Avanta and its successes, let's rewind the clock a little bit. You and I believe most of your team come from outside of the insurance industry?
Yeah, we do have some folks on my team that have insurance expertise, but the senior folks, my partner and myself, we're not insurance folks, so to speak. We are longtime operators, investors, entrepreneurs, if you will. I've been investing in startups for over 30 years. And I've helped start a few startups, sold a few, but we're basically corporate venture investors.
And then is there, aside from the venture capital arm, are there other aspects to Avanta Ventures?
So we run a multifaceted function in that we are also an accelerator/incubator. So we have about 4 companies that we're accelerating now. These are not spin-outs from CSAA, but actual early stage opportunities that we're trying to help build real businesses with or for. We also do investments. By the end of this month, we will have made 10 investments since I've been here in about 20 months or so, in the past 20 months. And then, of course, we do evangelism and some of the other things on behalf of CSA and Avanta as well.
So if memory serves, CSAA, the AAA group's coming up on 100th anniversary in a few years?
It actually is past the 100 years, so
okay.
We're beyond that. But yeah, AAA and CSA have been around for over 100 years.
So I have to ask, considering your condition of bravery, what it was like to come into the industry in such what can be a counterintuitive task to achieve.
You know, I looked at that, and to me, the industry as a whole is poised for either being disrupted or transformation. And we're sort of on that precipice. And for someone like me, I actually thrive at sort of that transition point, where that pivot point is. For me, that creates a lot of opportunity and areas in which I can help larger corporation drive growth for itself. And that's fundamentally what Avanta is about. We absolutely invest, but we're here to really drive growth for CSA Insurance Group.
So, I mean, we've had the opportunity to work together for off and on a little over a year, and I have to say I've been quite impressed with how you tend to cut through what other people perceive as noise and chaos and kind of get to the bottom line. You were the first one to say to me out loud that venture capital is not necessarily a way to move the needle when you have an economic base the size of CSAA. And so why engage in venture capital investing?
So look, it's for a venture investment in an early stage startup is not going to drive near-term revenue immediately. Right. What it will do, though, is help you identify what the future goalpost could be. Sure. Where the direction is going that you need to. I think of large corporations, whether it's in the insurance industry or like my former employers at Hewlett-Packard or HTC or Microsoft, we're large oil tankers. It's hard to turn. And what the startups are, they're little speedboats they're trying to figure out. And so what port should we be aiming towards is always a moving target for big companies.
Right.
And by investing in venture capital, what we're really doing is saying, what could be disruptive? What could help accelerate our growth? And how do we anticipate that disruption? And so that's what the venture investments allow large corporations to do, in a very, not just, hey, we think here are the trends or some of those things, but really, what are the numbers behind that? When we open up and we're actually at the board table in the board meetings, we're seeing the real numbers, the adoption rates,
Right.
the issues that come up in growing a young company, and we're able to actually translate that for our bigger company. There's a Chinese wall that we have
Right.
between what we do as Avanta and what the corporation does. So we're not just taking ideas and throwing them back to you as my parent, but rather saying, hey, here's where opportunities lie. Is that something we can and should do? And then it's up to us and my team to go drive that influence.
Do you not also get kind of key consumer insights based on that adoption data?
Not only that, but we get key engagement. So, one of our investments today was going to be addressing millennial consumers. So what's their adoption rate? How are they thinking about insurance? And one of the things that we learned through that is that, look, they don't want long annual payment terms. They want
Right.
to be able to pay right away. They want to engage directly with that. And that was a little insight that we're now taking and making it available and changing our payment processes. That's not an easy, you might think that's just a simple switch.
Right.
It's not that simple actually for a large corporation to do. And yet, so these are just a snippet of a kind of learning that we can do. Another example that we have is an investment that we made in Cape Analytics, which is doing aerial
right.
imagery to help us better understand risks associated with properties. And so we're taking some of that and saying, hey, how can we leverage AI and machine learning to really drive down our cost structure in not only selling these policies, but in managing and maintaining those policies as well.
Yeah, so obviously I don't want to get into any secret sauce, but would you mind sharing with us some of the companies you've invested in or some of the companies that are in the accelerator now?
Sure, so I can certainly talk about all the ones that are public. So we invested in OWL Cameras, which is a dashboard camera company. We have an investment in Cape Analytics, which I just mentioned, which is an aerial imagery. Well, what they do is they take aerial imagery. They don't create it themselves, but they have an AI and machine learning algorithm that manages that. We have an investment in Rapid SOS, which is a very cool and interesting 911 infrastructure calling technology that eliminates the notion. Today they're in all of your iOS devices for Apple, as well as your Android devices, but they're also the software that drives the Uber police and safety app, or button,
Wow.
if you will. So they'll call and they can identify where you are within 100 feet when you need 911 assistance. And so they've actually saved lives and are saving lives. And that fits extremely well with our mission as CSA about delivering peace of mind, safety, and security. We've got investments.
So those are some of the investments?
Those are some of them, yes.
And then what about in the accelerator?
So in the accelerator, we've got a couple of companies that are starting out. We've got an on-demand insurance company called Pablo. We have a claims AI-based management company called Insure Analytics. We've got a travel and hospitality company called You're Welcome. And we've got a mobility company coming in there called Autometric. As well, which is looking at sort of on-demand insurance and telematics.
I know those guys.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we've got quite a few that we're and we're really about helping them build their businesses, not doing anything other than that.
A lot of your team came from outside the industry. You're not located around the corner, so fairly removed from the corporate mothership. Do you worry about vulnerability of that kind of separation? And I know you're navigating it very well, but is that a concern?
We've been very fortunate in that we've gotten executive support at CSAA, and I and my team spend about half of our time really at CSAA as well. Really not just navigating those walls, but really making sure we have really close connectivity with the business, as well as the corporate strategy, and so that we're understanding how do we play in driving that corporate growth, because fundamentally that's what we're about. Yes, I need to make some money if I'm going to put money to work, and all of those kinds of things, and yes, we need to drive commercial value, but at the end of the day, what we really are is how do we make CSAA and make it grow from 2-3x, in the future? And that's fundamentally the question that we're trying to address. And because of that framework or lens, we actually engage quite heavily, almost on a daily basis, with our brethren back at CSAA.
Fantastic. I think that's important connectivity. It breeds longevity.
No, it's absolutely necessary. We're not here trying to be completely separate from CSAA. There's a lot of value that we get from CSAA,
sure,
and hopefully we deliver some value back in return, but we actually embrace and welcome that relationship very much so.
Wonderful. And I know you've got you've got a key partner with you that I'm going to get a chance to talk to. I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time this morning. Everybody knows how chaotic and busy we get here at ITC, so
really appreciate
thank you
your time,
so much.
Guy. Thank you.
All right.